In the glimmering haze of old Hollywood, where fame sparkled brighter than diamonds but secrets cut sharper than glass, Lana Turner reigned as a screen siren whose beauty could silence a room, and whose life behind the scenes was anything but silent. To the world, she was the glamorous blonde goddess of The Postman Always Rings Twice and Peyton Place, a woman of lavish gowns and carefully curled hair. But beneath that shimmering exterior lived a woman riddled with pain, power, and passion. With other women, in the days when being openly gay in Hollywood could destroy your career in a heartbeat, many stars lived double lives. Affairs were masked as intense friendships, and romantic betrayals rarely made it into gossip columns unless editors were paid to keep them out. Lana Turner's love life was widely publicized at marriages. One murder scandal, a daughter, caught in the crossfire, but what the public never saw were the women. The ones she whispered to in the dark, the ones she trusted, the ones she kissed, and the ones who betrayed her.
Oh.
In private conversations and private journals, Turner confessed to friends she'd been deceived and broken by several actresses she once trusted intimately. Some of these women, she claimed, seduced her during vulnerable moments, then discarded her or used her for career advancement. Others simply left her heart in pieces. These aren't idle speculations. They are names that floated through the halls of gossip for decades, hushed by the Hollywood system, till now. One name that reportedly appeared again and again in Turner's private recollections was that of Barbara Stanwyck. Stanwyck was tough, magnetic, and fiercely private, qualities that both attracted and frustrated Turner. The two worked in the same orbit, and their chemistry was palpable at private parties where insiders later whispered about their closeness. Rumors swirled for years that Stanwyck had engaged in discreet relationships with women, including her longtime companion Helen Ferguson, and Turner may have been one of those conquests, though their affair, if it occurred, ended in bitterness. Lana was once overheard describing Stanwyck as ice behind the fire, a woman who knew exactly how to lure others in, but never gave herself fully. According to one MGM studio insider, Turner allegedly felt used, claiming Stanwyck had manipulated her emotionally during a low point in her career, only to abandon her the moment things turned complicated. Whether Turner felt scorned or heartbroken remains unclear, but their relationship cooled abruptly, and they were never seen together again after a certain heated exchange in 1953, backstage at a Hollywood benefit. Some say that argument was about a shared lover. Others say it was about a broken promise to keep things secret. Whatever the truth, Turner reportedly added Stanwyck to her list of women not to be trusted, a list she privately updated throughout her life. Name associated with both deep affection and bitter disappointment in Turner's circle was the elegant and tragic Margaret Lindsay. Lindsay was a studio darling in the 1930s and 1940s, often cast in refined ladylike roles that belied her inner rebellion. She lived most of her adult life with her roommate Mary McCarty, an arrangement typical of lesbian relationships. During that era, when same-sex partnerships had to be disguised as companionships, Turner and Lindsay reportedly grew close while working on overlapping studio projects and attending tightly knit social gatherings at the homes of directors and producers. Their connection, according to private letters uncovered in later years, was intensely emotionally romantic. A friend of Turner's claimed that Lana fell hard, but that Margaret pulled away suddenly, citing fear of discovery and the risk to her career. Turner allegedly felt humiliated, even used, and confided to a confidant that Lindsay ran like a coward when it got real. Turner later avoided Lindsay at industry events and was said to make scathing remarks whenever her name was brought up. While it's possible the heartbreak was one-sided, Turner's reaction suggested deeper wounds. In the coded language of Hollywood's hidden queer circles, these weren't just friendships, these were intimate betrayals. Then came Ann Sheridan, the oomph girl of Warner Brothers, a nickname she loathed, but a persona she couldn't shake. Sheridan and Turner had a dynamic chemistry that sparked the moment they met. Several biographers have suggested that the two had a brief, torrid affair in the early 1940s, sparked during a string of late-night rehearsals and carried on behind the scenes of wartime benefit tours. Sheridan, known for her razor-sharp wit and undeniable charm, was the only woman Turner allegedly admitted to loving and hating in equal measure. Their affair, as whispered among stylists and studio assistants, began during a particularly rough period in Turner's first marriage. Sheridan, herself hiding multiple same-sex flings according to later interviews with her colleagues, reportedly broke off the relationship to pursue a male actor whose rising fame could help her career. Turner felt discarded, even mocked, especially when Sheridan joked publicly that she preferred her co-stars a little less dramatic off-camera. Turner allegedly never forgave her, and when asked in later years why she never worked with Sheridan, again, she simply said, "Some acts don't need repeating." But it wasn't just actresses in Turner's generation who left their mark. Some younger women, just beginning their careers, also crossed paths with the older, iconic star. One such woman was a young, up-and-coming beauty named Capucine, the French actress known for her roles in The Pink Panther and What's New Pussycat. Capucine, stunning and statuesque, had long been rumored to have been romantically involved with multiple women, including Audrey Hepburn and Greta Garbo. Turner met her through a European film producer during a brief stay in Rome, and the connection was electric. The affair, brief and intense, reportedly left Turner shaken. She was in her 40s then, with her Hollywood fame beginning to fade, and Capucine was in her prime, surrounded by men and women alike. According to a letter Turner wrote, but never published, she accused Capucine of collecting lovers like perfume bottles, unused and forgotten. Turner reportedly swore off girls with accents after that encounter and counted Capucine among the women who had left claw marks, not lipstick. Also whispered among Lana's inner circle was the name of Joan Crawford. Now Crawford and Turner were contemporaries, rivals, and publicly cordial, but privately, things were more complicated. There were long-standing rumors of an affair that began during the filming of Dancing Lady in the 1930s, when Turner was still young and impressionable. Crawford, known for her aggressive sexuality and iron grip on her lovers, reportedly seduced Turner during the production's after hours. Turner, who at that point was eager to rise through the MGM ranks, may have viewed the relationship as both personal and strategic, but it soured quickly. Turner was said to have confided in a friend that Crawford was cruel in bed and crueler in goodbye. After the affair ended, Crawford allegedly spread rumors that Turner was unstable, damaging her reputation among certain producers. Whether the story is entirely true or inflated by time, Turner's dislike for Crawford became legendary. She would never work with her again, and once told a journalist that some people age into wisdom, others just rot louder. Few doubted who she meant. The sixth woman, believed to have been part of Turner's inner romantic history, was the mysterious and seductive Tallulah Bankhead. Bankhead was famously open about her bisexuality, at least as much as anyone could. Bien that Erin was known for affairs with both men and women, delivered with her signature Southern charm and biting wit. Turner met Bankhead during a charity event in the early 1950s. An insider said the two shared several private rendezvous. But Bankhead, unpredictable and larger than life, proved too chaotic even for Turner. Their dynamic reportedly swung from passionate to explosive in mere minutes. Turner later described Bankhead without naming her as a storm. "I was stupid enough to walk into without an umbrella." The final straw came after Bankhead allegedly joked about their intimacy during a dinner party, leaving Turner humiliated. From then on, Lana froze her out entirely, refusing to acknowledge her in public or private. The seventh and final name was perhaps the most complicated: Ava Gardner, stunning, rebellious, and deeply sensual. Ava Gardner and Lana Turner shared more than just a studio. They shared taste in men and, by many accounts, women. Turner and Gardner had a strange dance of attraction and rivalry, a relationship that evolved over decades. While no affair between the two was ever publicly confirmed, their shared lovers and constant proximity made rumors inevitable. One MGM staffer claimed. Turner once said that Ava kissed like sin and lied like a saint. Their rivalry deepened after Gardner's affair with Frank Sinatra, a man Turner also had feelings for, which added jealousy to their already tangled bond. Some believe Turner's greatest hatred stemmed from her inability to hate Ava completely because a part of her still admired her, perhaps even loved her. Their final meeting, years after both had left the spotlight, was reportedly cold but heavy with unspoken tension. Turner, reflecting later in life, wrote in her diary, "Some women you forget, some you forgive, some you bury in your heart, like glass." In the end, Lana Turner never publicly confirmed any of these relationships, and perhaps that's part of what keeps the legend alive. In an age when even the suggestion of queerness could ruin careers, Turner played her roles both, on and off screen with a level of control few could manage. But privately, behind the curtain, she kept a list not just of lovers, but of women who changed her life in ways the public would never know. These were the women she once adored and eventually despised. In them we glimpse the true cost of living a lie, of hiding behind makeup and spotlight, of loving in silence and breaking in secret. Lana Turner's legacy isn't just one of beauty and scandal, it's one of vulnerability, defiance, and a quiet truth that never had its moment. Until now, in a rare, hushed moment near the twilight of her life, Lana Turner reportedly confided in a longtime friend a private conversation away from flashing cameras, cocktail parties, and the ever-churning Hollywood rumor mill. In that conversation, she allegedly listed 7 women actresses, all of them whom she had loved in secret and now could no longer bear to speak of. This wasn't just gossip. According to those who knew her best, each name carried a weight. That went far beyond scandal. These were not fleeting affairs or drunken mistakes. These were women she had once trusted with her vulnerability, women who kissed her in the shadows and hurt her when the sun came up. For Lana, who spent her life performing for the world, these relationships were the few moments she wasn't acting. But when those moments turned into betrayal, silence, or shame, they became scars. The first name she allegedly spoke was Barbara Stanwyck. To the public, Barbara was the steely, elegant actress whose talent could cut through any role. But to Lana, she was the woman who, for a short time in the 1940s, invited her into a world of secrecy and tenderness behind studio walls. According to whispers passed down from studio insiders, it was during overlapping productions at Paramount when their affair began. Barbara, older, guarded, always in control, reportedly pursued Lana with quiet confidence. But what began as electric intimacy quickly collapsed. Lana, in need of emotional comfort, was devastated when Barbara began to pull away. Turner later said of Stanwyck, "She taught me how to lie with my eyes," and then used that same trick. On me, it was a line filled with pain, not just loss. After the relationship ended, the two never worked together again. And the cold distance between them at public events spoke volumes that the press never understood. The second name was, perhaps the most elusive of them all, Greta Garbo, an icon so ethereal and private that even in death she remains a mystery. For a fleeting period in the late 1930s, Lana Turner found herself drawn into Garbo's famously insular world. Garbo was not known for openness, yet she reportedly kept a circle of close female friends, some say lovers, who were allowed into her silence. Lana was one of the youngest women Garbo took an interest in, and for a brief time, she felt honored by the older woman's attention. But that allure turned cold fast. According to those close to Turner, she became angry when Garbo refused to even acknowledge their connection in public. Lana later described her as a ghost with lipstick, adding, "She made me feel invisible the moment I needed her to see me most." Their affair ended not with fireworks or confrontation, but with quiet abandonment. Neither ever spoke of it again. To Lana, the hurt lay not just in the rejection, but in the erasure. To be unseen by someone she once bared her soul to haunted her longer than the affair itself. Then came Tallulah Bankhead. The third name Lana couldn't say without a bitter twist of the lips. Tallulah was wild, reckless, and unapologetically queer long before Hollywood had words to handle it. Their connection was fiery from the start. Introduced at a political fundraiser in the 1950s, the two reportedly embarked on a brief but unforgettable fling. Bankhead was known for burning bright and fast, and that's exactly how she treated Lana. For a few nights, Lana felt alive in a way she hadn't in years, reportedly telling a friend. She was wild, unpredictable, and so alive. But when she later learned Tallulah had bragged about their encounter at a dinner party, the betrayal was immediate and irreparable. "She made me feel like a souvenir," Lana confided. "Something she picked up for a night and left behind." What might have been just another scandalous chapter for Bankhead became a deep emotional wound for Turner. Their feud, according to several sources, lasted until the day Bankhead died. The silence between them, once born of passion, turned to permanent frost. The fourth name was an Exaridan, Warner Brothers. Oomph Girl. Beneath the studio-manufactured label was a woman Lana reportedly adored. Their alleged affair was a slow burn filled with longing glances at studio lots, whispered conversations behind dressing room doors, and secret rendezvous in Beverly Hills. It was Sheridan, some say, who made Lana believe it was safe to love another woman again. That is until the betrayal. When a coveted role both actresses wanted went to Turner instead, Sheridan cut off all contact. No explanation, no confrontation, just silence. Lana was devastated. "I shared my bed with her," she reportedly told a confidant. "She stole my spotlight." The pain, Turner said, was not just professional, it was personal. To be discarded over a role, to be treated like a stepping stone, was something she never forgave. What had started as one of her deepest connections turned into one of her most painful memories. The fifth woman on that list was the legendary Marlene Dietrich. Cool, magnetic, and androgynously elegant, Dietrich seduced with a glance and left destruction in her wake. Lana Turner, like many women in Hollywood, was captivated. Their romance was a tangle of secrecy and seduction, reportedly unfolding in the early 1950s between studio projects and overseas film festivals. But Dietrich, ever the enigma, never allowed herself to truly connect. Lana, desperate for something more than passion, found herself outmatched by a woman who treated love like performance art. "She dressed like a man, kissed like a god, and treated me like her mirror," Lana allegedly said. The line says everything. Dietrich wasn't looking for a partner. She was looking for a reflection. Eventually, Lana walked away, not in anger, but in exhausted resignation. "I can't compete with someone who loves their own shadow more than mine," she once muttered. That heartbreak lingered not because of love lost, but because of self-worth questioned. Number 6 was Joan Crawford. Their rivalry was the stuff of legend, but beneath that bitter frost, many believe there was once something far more intimate. Their alleged affair reportedly began in the late 1930s, driven by equal parts lust and ambition. Crawford, bold and calculating, saw Turner as both a beauty and a threat. The fire between them flared behind the scenes, but the fallout was even hotter. It all reportedly fell apart after Crawford openly flirted with one of Turner's husbands at a Hollywood party. Lana, already feeling second-guessed by the press, snapped. "She was poison in pearls," she allegedly said. "I don't hate many people, but I hate what Joan did to me." The rivalry played out for decades, disguised as professional tension. But behind it all was something more personal to women who loved each other in secret and then tore each other apart for the world to see. The seventh and perhaps most tragic name was Jean Tierney. Turner, reeling from public scandals and personal traumas, met Tierney at a studio gathering when both women were quietly struggling with their own demons. Tierney, stunning and soft-spoken, reportedly offered Lana the kind of gentle intimacy she hadn't felt in years. They were, according to insiders, inseparable for several weeks, sneaking away for weekend retreats, sharing long emotional talks late into the night. But Tierney's battle with mental illness soon grew too heavy to bear. Lana, terrified and unsure how to help, pulled away. "She needed help," Turner reportedly said later. "I gave her passion instead." The guilt of that decision haunted her. Unlike the other women on her list, Turner didn't speak of Tierney with anger or contempt, but with quiet sorrow. She didn't hate her. She couldn't. But she also couldn't bring herself to face her again. In that absence, the goodbye that never happened was the one that left the deepest wound, despite being hidden from public view. These 7 names. formed a secret constellation in Lana Turner's sky-burning stars of lust, betrayal, longing, and regret. Each woman, in her own way, left a fingerprint on Lana's heart, shaping her sense of trust, identity, and emotional survival. In a time when even whispers of same-sex relationships could destroy careers, these affairs were not just dangerous, they were revolutionary. Turner lived with the weight of that secrecy, and though she never spoke publicly about her relationships with women, those closest to her say she never stopped feeling them. They haunted her, inspired her, and ultimately made her the complex, defiant legend we remember today. Her story, often told in Technicolor and Scandal, is far more nuanced when told in whispers, shadows, the quiet ache of forbidden love. By the time Turner entered her later years, the shimmer of the screen had dulled, but the toll of a life, lived under constant scrutiny, had not faded. Decades of drinking, smoking, and emotional stress finally began to show. She had long leaned on cigarettes as a crutch, as armor, as a prop in the performance of her life. It was part of her image, glamorous, sultry, untouchable. But beneath that image was a woman slowly unraveling. MGM's public relations teams often edited cigarettes out of her publicity stills, trying to preserve the illusion of perfection, while the woman herself was battling addiction just out of frame. She gave up drinking in her 60s, a major victory for her health, but she could never give up nicotine. In 1992, she was diagnosed with throat cancer. At first, it seemed manageable, localized. She underwent surgery and radiation, clinging to hope, telling the press it hadn't touched her vocal cords. But the cancer spread to her jaw, her lungs, and deeper still. In a final public appearance at the San Sebastian International Film Festival in 1994, she was frail in a wheelchair, but still unmistakably Lana Turner's, miling through the pain, the way only a true star could. She died just months later, on June 29, 1995, with her daughter Cheryl by her side. Her passing came suddenly, despite rounds of radiation and faint signs of improvement. Cheryl later described it as a total shock. The final curtain had come down not with fanfare, but with quiet heartbreak, just as her most closely guarded stories always had. Her life, both public and private, remains a testament to the price of glamour, the endurance of pain, and the secret love stories she carried to her grave.